Hello, my name's Bob Jones and I'm the Grand Master of Freemasons Victoria, and welcome to this very special Anzac Day edition of Freemasons, the Inside Story. Good morning. We're here at the 98th Anzac Day, and I'm very proud and very pleased to be here with Most Worshipful Brother Major General Frank Polk, past Grand Master, Brother Leading Air Craftsman Matt Lambeth, and Brother Leading Air Craftsman Todd Robinson. Brethren, what does today mean to you? Obviously it's a very significant day in the life of a serviceman. What does it mean to each of you?
Well, we were fortunate enough to serve overseas a couple of years ago, and in part of Operation Slipper. And as part of that, you sort of get to see, to a degree, what's happening in Afghanistan and in the Middle East. And I think just the Anzac Day and everything else means a fair bit. Having that experience and sharing it with your mates and the remembrance of the people who served and died before you.
Mm-hmm. And Todd, you?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to serve in Operation Slipper with Matthew out of Dubai, and we had our first Anzac Day ceremony in Dubai, which was actually a very humbling experience, and something that brought the truth home that we're actually over there to serve our country, and all the people that have been before us it's actually quite humbling. And to now be here today with the brethren, it's fantastic to be part of the Freemason community, and like Major General Polk said, it's part of getting the clan together, and it's actually really humbling to be here, so I appreciate it.
You've served, you served in the forces. What brought you into Freemasonry? Was there anything in the forces that you saw in Freemasonry that you could relate to us?
I sort of got interested in Freemasonry when I found out both my grandfathers were members of Freemasonry.
And they were both servicemen?
One was. Mm-hmm. One was with the RAAF, but was a radio operator in the Lancaster Bombers in World War II. And that piqued my interest, and then I joined. I sort of was in the Air Force in the early 90s. I got out, and then I joined Freemasonry in 2005, and then I rejoined the reserves in 2008. I've just noticed that Freemasonry and the military, the similarities, mateship, personal sacrifice, in a sense that not so much giving your life in Freemasonry, but giving your time for charity, that sort of thing. So
certainly. That's
where I sort of seen the two combined. Yeah.
And Todd, you're a relatively new Freemason. Is there any similarities to you between serving and?
Most definitely. What actually cemented my decision to become a Freemason is when I was serving with Matthew overseas, and to see how he was committed to serving, and also to enlightening me as how I can become a better person. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, is serving and also becoming part of the Freemasonry. Being part of a lodge was a fantastic opportunity for me. And ever since I've been in, I've relished the fact that I can go into a lodge and be welcomed from everyone within the lodge, and from all shapes, sizes and backgrounds, so it's been fantastic.
And just standing around here waiting for our part of the service to begin, the people that coming up to you, Most Worshipful Brother Frank, and taking your photo, apart from that personal pride you must feel, it must give you great heart that we will never forget.
I think the interesting thing is, particularly with the young ones, children of school age and preschool age even, the fact that they want to have the photo taken with somebody who's in a uniform indicates an interest, and that interest will probably flow on, and who knows where they might ultimately end up. We might have a Chief of the General Staff amongst us. Look,
I think you're underplaying the fact that you have a wonderful a range of medals that are very, very significant and well and worthily worn.
Well, my daughter had an interpretation of that. She reckoned they gave me a medal every time they wanted to get rid of me.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. I couldn't argue.
And Frank, you and I spent a lot of time back in the early 90s when you were the Grand Master of Freemasons of Victoria together. I was an extremely young Grand Director of the time, but we still had a great rapport.
We did indeed. Sharing a common interest in the interest of the human race.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Well, thank you for joining us this morning. We're about to lay a wreath in a few moments on behalf of Freemasonry Victoria within the shrine, and I was very proud and privileged to do that last year, and as Grand Master it's one of the great highlights of the year. Please join us as we lay the wreath in the Shrine of Remembrance.